Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of the Quad Damage Podcast, where we combine the classic discussion format with live gameplay, sometimes live, sometimes recorded. In this case, we'll be playing our guest RubyRanger is one of his games that's on his mind right now with his build fixation, Ion Fury, or Eon Fury, depending on whom you ask. I'm your host, High Functioning Medium, along with my other hostesses, Deadforge.
Yeah, how's it going? I'm a hostess.
I'm not going to assume your gender, Robert. We don't do that here.
Okay, I'll reveal my gender on camera right now. God damn it.
Hell yeah.
What is your gender? English. Oh, all right.
English. All right.
Deadforge, say hey.
How's it going? I did say hey while you guys were all.
We're all busy talking over each other. Like, hi, me, no me now. No me, my turn.
Yeah.
Robert was talking about how English he was, and it just got kind of hidden in there. But anyway,
Yeah.
what's up?
Everybody.
Hey,
Yeah, man.
Deadforge.
Yeah, yo, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
HyperVerse, what's up?
It's all good, host.
This is going to be the goofiest podcast we've ever had.
Yeah. Okay.
cut, print,
Okay.
go. Send it in. Like
Yeah,
George
oh my
Lucas, it's like, can you do that again, but just faster?
Yeah.
If you can make it rhyme.
Do it again, but
like
just
poetry.
better.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Welcome, RubyRanger. How are you this fine
Hey.
afternoon?
I'm doing pretty good. Not bad. It's hot and muggy where I am, and I get to go to my day job like literally as soon as we're done recording this. Quick hop in the shower and get the fuck out of Dodge. But yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I've been doing a lot of video work and game playing and stuff. So I'm in that like really creative energy zone.
Yeah.
When you're like really juiced and you're going for it and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm like here. I'm going to work on 12 videos all at the same time. And they're all going to come out great.
Yeah. Yours are
Feel
an
that.
hour and a half long, so good luck with that.
Oh God. Yeah, no, I'm working on, for those of you at home, the reference to that, I'm working on like a fucking, hour, 20-minute video on Wrath, Eon of
Yeah.
Ruin right now. I didn't mean for it to be this big.
You sound like medium.
Oh, it's
If you know what I
it's a
mean.
beast.
Yeah.
I do want to say,
Well,
as kind of a little tease, Medium here helped me out with a little bit of it. I don't want to go into what capacity because I kind of want to save that as a surprise for the video when it comes out. I'm thinking in like a week and a half I should have it out. But I sent a proposal to Medium for something for the video, and he was very gracious enough to be a part of it. So I got him, and then I got one other surprise guest that's going to be a part of it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it comes out.
Nice.
that old medium guy, he's been popping up in everything these days.
Yeah.
He
man,
really
yeah,
is.
Shuts up.
Yeah, I saw you in Arkham's video recently,
Yeah.
where he took shots at me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
He made a joke at the beginning of his video where he was like, all right, now vampires, werewolves, and blah, blah, and like, because he was like raccoons because of some remark. And then he's like, and whatever the fuck this is. And it shows my logo, my like character.
Which is so ironic
damn.
because y'all literally have the
YouTube
exact
drama.
same theme. He's literally like an undead cyborg, and he's like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Nice,
I'm
nice,
also,
nice.
I'm a dead cyborg, but mine's more like Han Solo kind of thing going on. But it was funny. I don't know.
Real does not recognize
Nice.
real, apparently.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Gotta recognize. You gotta get out there. You gotta support your fellow creators, man. Come on.
He's a cool
Absolutely,
guy.
yes.
I like Arkham.
Absolutely,
He's a cool
yeah.
guy.
Deadforge, you want to do your thing?
Oh,
With the
of course.
electrolytes.
Yeah.
Well, I got to get the electrolytes in because what's about to happen is so powerful that it will diminish me of all electrolytes.
Oh
So
my god, yeah. Be like Sarah Khan exploding from the nuclear explosion.
exactly, the power is within the cigar,
Don't be
right?
on the camera.
So you put it right in here, right?
All right, guys.
Like Arnold, right?
Arnold.
Get to the chopper.
Damn, knocking out the hard shit today.
There we go.
Let's get
Yeah,
booming.
booming.
I think you mean cloning. Doom cloning.
The clone in the dark.
What?
God, that was such
Yeah.
a good dude. Your Alone
Yeah.
in the Dark video was great, and just for a clone in the dark, God damn it. I
It's
hate
a bit of a regression that I had a plastic bottle this time versus an actual beer bottle that I had like the last 2 or 3 times.
So
Mhm.
we're
But it's okay.
promoting
It's okay.
promoting health today, yeah.
I won't hold
Yeah.
you
Well,
to
yeah, I mean,
unless you
as
ask
healthy
somebody.
as
Apart from the
lemonade
cigar.
is, but
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
next time, if you guys have me on, next time I'll have a glass of ice and some sipping whiskey. We'll do that.
sounds
We'll
great.
be truly refined gentlemen out here.
Well, I mean, we
Yeah.
did have like a 10-minute
background.
conversation about cigars and whiskey at the beginning of the last episode. So,
I remember thinking while we were having that conversation, I'm like, we're talking about cigars a lot here. Do I have to edit this out? Or do we
It was
keep
just
it
funny.
in?
It was like everybody got the memo, guys. We really need to have something to talk about at the beginning. I was like, "Are we floundering
Yeah.
already? We just stuff to talk about." It's like, "Fucking talk about substances, okay?"
Because we're a big boomer shooter podcast, and it's like obviously you talk about a lot of stuff during the course of it.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
boomer shooter related,
Yeah.
you know. And this
branch
cigar thing, the cigar thing went on for like literally 10 minutes, and I was like, you know what? I'm enjoying talking about it because
I mean, it's interesting,
like,
but at like near the end, I was like, all right, well, let's get back into the podcast. So-
Right.
Well, that,
Yeah,
that was
so
the thing. It
speaking
didn't
of-
start at 10 minutes. It was within the first 10 minutes. That was-
yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
Ruby, you chose Ion Fury. Yeah.
Yes.
So, which, the artist formerly known as Iron Maiden, which is still, in my opinion, the better name for it. And it had the
Fully
group
agree.
not gone.
Listen, that was the
and become
dumbest
so
possible
zealous.
thing to be
It
like,
was
oh my god,
stupid.
it sounds
It was
so much like
much.
like my thing, but
Yeah,
it-
yeah. Do you
but
guys
it's
know what
not.
an actual Iron Maiden is?
Wasn't there
Iron
so-
Maiden, yes,
like a
It's
real
all-
Iron
it's shit-
Maiden, like the torture device, medievally
Yeah.
speaking?
Exactly, yeah. So
Yeah.
what the hell is the group Iron Maiden out there being like, yeah, it's too similar to us? Yeah, motherfuckers, you took
Well, I mean,
your
they
name
can't-
from something that existed already.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why
What do
there's
you
like such a
what do you
weird
complain?
legality about that. I think
Yeah.
it wasn't that like 3D realms and stuff probably could have gotten away with it. They just didn't want to spend the money and time to like deal with it. I
Yeah.
think so. They were just like, all right, you know what? We're just going to change it. It's not that
Right.
Yeah,
important.
just future.
Plus, I
Yeah.
think that there was something else included with that. Like Iron Maiden had like some kind of game based on the band that was
Right.
called like Iron Maiden or Ion Maiden or something like that. Like it was
Technically,
just
they
Yeah.
close
Yeah.
enough.
do have a Iron Maiden mobile game. So
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Before we continue, I got to shout out this guy Washi Roberts. So this is who we've taken the footage from. He's not actually on any. I tried recording the footage for this after Ruby requested it, and as I said to the guys, all my tests worked perfectly fine until the moment I decided to actually try and do it for real, and then it was stuttering and all for. So I had to quickly kind of.
by the way, like in the end, just send me the link to his stuff so I can put it in the description of the video and all that.
Yeah. The thing is, he's only got a YouTube channel, so I couldn't ask him up front, and say, can I use it? So I'm kind of shouting him out now. His name's in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. It's Washi Robert. So if anyone, Robert, if you're out there, appreciate it, bro.
It'd probably be one of those things where it's like
Thanks for-
us putting him in the description or like tagging him or whatever. It'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
who are these guys?
Yeah.
Like,
Thanks for uploading gameplay footage. Like,
Yeah.
boy, oh boy, is that such a nice resource, especially when you're working on making video essays and you're like, man, I just need a clip of some gameplay footage.
Yeah.
And you have it.
yeah, you guys would have like multiple strokes if you knew the process that I went through to get pretty much all literally every single bit of my gameplay in my recent video, minus like I think one thing was like part of a trailer. So
Mhm.
yeah, it would be. It's
I'm so thankful I don't have to make long form
It's
videos.
so hard sometimes.
yeah.
Like, I do try to like where I can, like if I own the game in my library, I'll install it and I'll capture some footage myself. But like for the most part, if I don't own it or if I just need a specific clip or something, I'll go grab some long play footage off of YouTube because like sometimes that's really all you got.
I don't have like an Elgato or like any kind of recording device. Technically, I have like a little cheap like $20 capture card that I have, but it didn't really work well before. But now that my computer has more RAM, it actually works good now, which I found out like 90% ways through my last video. So I was basically having to get 30-minute, or not 30-minute, but 30-second and 1-minute clips from my Xbox and put them on my phone, then put them on Google Drive, then put them on my computer, and then put them into the editor.
Oh, wow.
And then I found out when I was going back to, because I just wanted to prove a point where I show off Xbox 360 gameplay. I was like, you know what? My capture card was terrible when I used it for Darkness 1 gameplay in my Darkness 2 video. I was like, let me try it again now that I have more RAM. And I did it, and it was flawless. So I was like, I am going to use this from now on. It's still annoying because I have to like take my laptop into my living room and I have to sit it on a counter or like on my heater next to like where my TV is, and then plug it up with the HDMI cable, and then I have to play the game on my laptop through OBS to record it, which is still annoying.
I swear
but
to
it's
God,
a little bit faster because I can record more gameplay.
RAM is so underrated. Like I'm always like, give me as much RAM as humanly possible. And like my brother, he used to work at Best Buy, so he was big tech head. He's like, you're never going to need that much RAM. And I'm like, I don't care. I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least 16 is recommended for video editing, and then like 32 is recommended for, I think it was, what was it for? Can't remember. I was looking at something that was talking about it. But like, yeah, I mean, the more you have, the better. So.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I got 8 gigabytes on this laptop that I'm using right now, and when I edit these hour-and-a-half podcasts, it can take about 45 minutes to export. it's a slow process. Yeah, I wish I.
I mean, when I
do the editing.
Yeah,
when I upgraded from 8 to 16, what do I have now? No, I have 32. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what I meant. 32 is recommended for video editing. That's what I meant to say. But anyway, when I did that, it like cut my editing time and rendering time in half. So it's like, it's so much quicker now because I can actually like watch it while I edit it versus it going like, which is what it did before. So I couldn't even, I would have to like almost review the video after it was rendered and then delete it and re-render it if something was messed up, which was a pain.
You all know about making proxies of your footage to use for the point of editing? It's something in DaVinci Resolve. I'm sure every program has some variation of it, but that's actually the only reason I can do it on my computer is super old. It's like a 1050 Ti graphics card. It's like 2016 or 2018 or something was when it got made, and it was probably not that state of the art then. So what I have to do inside of this is tell it to make proxies of it, so it makes like super low res, or you can tailor it to however big you want them to be. There's no reason to make them look good really, because they need to be as easy and small to pick around. Anyway, it greatly increases the scrubbing speed that you have, so it's not lagging out almost ever. Okay. And if you really want to just tag team, you just take your resolution of your project and just put it down to like a quarter or something, or whatever the lowest is.
Yeah, that's what I do whenever I'm editing.
To kind of reduce the load and stop making it give you pretty pictures when you just need the gist of what you're looking at anyway, usually.
Yeah, absolutely. If it looks shitty in the editor, but it looks pixel perfect when it renders, beautiful. Let's go.
So it's going to be lagging for you, but it always always. Yeah. In theory. Always reverts back to the base file. You're just using something for the time being, sort of like a.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that was a thing, but I mean, I might use it.
Yeah, just right click on it. Media is what you want if you're using.
I'll look into it.
That's only that program, and I'm sure it's not like it's DaVinci's invention or something.
Yeah. Right. Yeah,
I'm still figuring out how to edit as I go along. I'm entirely self-taught. So it's whenever I hear stuff like this that makes the process easier, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, same here, dude. Yeah. YouTube is a great resource. I look up a lot of shit on YouTube, like how do I do this, how do I do that? But like,
that's what I do. Yeah, YouTube and Google. That's literally two of the best things. What I find is that as you're making the video, you figure out something that you want, and even if you don't know how to do it, you're like, give me 10 minutes and go away. I'll figure out how it's done, and I come back and do it. And now it's another tool in your toolbox that you can use for future like that transition you just saw then.
Yeah.
So that's going from the first part to the second part of here, but it would just look like normal gameplay. So I'm like, how have I figured out how can I separate the zones, within the game? So I just put a transition. I didn't know how the fuck to do a transition when I first started editing. I was just pissing around. So I literally just Googled it, and that's how it is.
And I found out that like, what is it that I use now with most of my transitions? It's called like a dissolve Fade or something like
Dissolve,
that in
maybe?
DaVinci.
Dissolve.
No, it's one of the other ones. It's not
Blur
cross
Dissolve
dissolve.
or
It's
something
like
like that.
something like that. I use that now instead. Before I was using like the clean cut one, but actually it's not that clean. It's like a very.
No.
I was using that
Blade
before, and it's kind of
yeah.
very like,
Buffered.
yeah, it's not as clean.
Yeah. So
Yeah, when I use that, it's much better.
Thank God for Google. Ruby, you were talking about going back to Iron Fury. We are a Fury of Pro podcast.
After 10 minutes.
Why'd you choose this game?
Ion Fury because so I'm in a build mode right now.
Because he wanted to segue into Phantom Fury.
Oh yeah, yes sir. Oh yeah, yes. So I played Duke Nukem 3D all the way through for the very first time last month, and I'm making a video for the History of FPS project I'm working on.
Sweet.
So I played through Duke for the first time, and it's wow, what an experience. Like I will get off track if I talk about that any further, but it's just
it's really
beautiful, man. And then I played a bit of Ion Fury to capture footage for my Wrath video, because I was talking about 3D Realms and how they were part of the boomer shooter holy trinity of the Renaissance. So Dusk, Medieval, Ion Fury, all of that came out at the same time. So I was getting footage for Ion Fury for my Wrath video, and then Phantom Fury came out. Now, Ion Fury, I've only played 15 minutes of. Like I have never played the full game. I only played it so I could capture footage. I was like, oh, this is really good. I should come back and play this at some point. And then Phantom Fury comes out, and I had no dog in that game, right? Like everybody was talking about it leading up to release. Like I saw the trailer with John Blade and all that shit, the new 3D engine that they had. And I'm like, that's cool, but I've never played Ion Fury, so I'm not hyped for Phantom Fury. This is not a game that's for me right now. So, I had no expectations or anything. But I was hearing a lot of shit about the game. And I was hearing a lot of people saying, it's like, yeah, no, the demo was bad. They only improved a little bit, but the game itself is really not good. And the whole debacle with 3D Realms' PR came into play. And I was like, okay, look, there's a lot going on here with both sides. There's, we're looking at like bad handling from 3D Realms' part. We're looking at, a lot of people criticizing the game and saying like it's terrible. And then we got a couple other people who are like, I don't understand. Like, I think it's just fine. And I was like, you know what? I got to bite the bullet. Like, this is one of those games where this feels like a zeitgeist moment. You know what I mean? Where something comes out and it's so divisive. It's like, I want to play it myself, go in with an open mind and just experience it and see like, okay, what is this? What side of the coin am I going to land on? And it is one of the most insultingly poorly made games I've ever played in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
It is a perfect storm of incompetence, which is what the title of my video is going to be when I get to it. It's so bad that I stopped playing after a rather insulting moment in the game. I stopped playing and I'm like I'm going to take a week or two away from this and then come back and finish the last like 10% of this game.
I thought Phantom Fury, like in trailers and stuff, looked fun. Like I thought it looked cool. I don't get me wrong, I really like build engine stuff. I do, but I kind of like that more Half-Life immersive sim-esque kind of vibe that it had going on. Where it was like looked like there was more like interactivity stuff. It was a little bit more freeform, is the way it seemed anyway.
It does.
And then as I go, then as I went to see more and more stuff, and like when I started watching reviews, it's like. Apparently that's quite misleading. It's actually a lot less of that. It's like one of those, hey, we're going to show off really cool things in the trailer, but it's not going to really be in the game when it comes out. Kind of like a cyberpunk kind of thing, like where it's not quite exactly,
in a lot of
what
ways,
we're showing.
Yeah. Like in a lot of ways, I feel like everything you saw in the trailer is in the game. I think if you saw the trailer, you saw the game, but I think it's also this veneer. This kind of like, here's the window dressing.
Yeah, like it was
like
giving.
When you get the McDonald's
like
burgers in the commercials, and that's not how the McDonald's burgers ever look. Like they're put together with super glue and shit. Like that's Phantom Fury. Like it looks interesting. Like watching gameplay footage of it, it looks interesting. But then when you actually play it, like it is so slippery and inconsistent. There's no.
What's up with like Phantom Fury and Wrath, Ruin, they both have that like I can't really explain the art style. Like it kind of looks good at times, but it kind of looks bad at times. Like
it is weird. It looks
a very
better
weird
in
style.
Wrath, I feel. But they
Yeah.
both have a very distinct art style. Like when I started playing Wrath, I was like, oh shit, this looks exactly like the same art style from Graven, but just here in a different game.
Yeah.
And then playing Phantom Fury, I'm like, oh wait, this is the same exact art style from Wrath, but it's just in a different aesthetic. There's something about Phantom Fury though, where like with Wrath, you are clearly working with a Quake engine game. That one's made in Dark Places specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what engine that they're working with Phantom Fury. Let me rephrase that. I feel like it is an in-house game engine that they're working with.
I don't know.
But a lot of it really doesn't look that good. Like there's a lot of crisp.
It's also hard to hide that kind of stuff in like a game that has a lot of outside, a lot of bright environments. When you have something that's very old school like that, and the weird kind of like style that it is, where like I said, it looks good and it looks bad, but especially when there's a lot of daytime stuff, that's really when something like that's not going to pop as well, in my opinion, because you can hide less stuff.
And to that extent, like in the daytime stuff, the outdoor stuff. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just going to point this in case this informed anything y'all wanted to talk about. Unreal Engine 4 is apparently what it's in.
Oh, interesting.
What?
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, that is interesting.
I would not have thought that.
I honestly, I thought that it was Unity when I first saw it, because Unity kind of has those little squares that you always see as part of its textures, and I thought that. But with, Shelley Harrison has 4 games now, and I think probably in the public consciousness, Shelley Harrison games probably begins with Iron Fury and ends with Aftershock. Phantom Fury.
If you consider Aftershock as a game, I guess that's 4.
That's
the
really
build engine games.
That's really interesting bringing that up, Medium, because I just went and looked at my footage to look at the opening of the game, and Unreal Engine is mentioned nowhere in the opening logos at all. It's just 3D Realms, Slipgate, and Joystick Ventures, but there's no Unreal logo. You know, like when they're like, "Yeah, here's the Unreal logo."
Yeah, that's Unreal.
It's like always. Well, usually they always like say what engine things are a lot of times. Like Unity, there's always Unity in the beginning, always Unreal. But that could be due to the fact that, I don't know. It could be due to like a maybe they didn't get funding from Unreal. Maybe that has something to do with getting funding, because like a lot of those people who use Unreal and stuff that also say that they use Unreal are people that used the what's it called? Unreal's
the editor?
No, like the thing that they do where they give indie developers money to make games, and they do these things. I forget what it's called. It's like a funding thing, but
I think I know what you mean.
Of studios and stuff every year, and they give away awards for certain ones every year, and they have a YouTube channel where they show them off all the time. Maybe, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, because I feel like even like Singularity or something, like a big budget game said that it was in Unreal stuff.
If the searches are true, that seems worth mentioning, right? It's kind of a weird. I'd say it may not mean anything. I don't find that wouldn't be something that would catch my purview, but maybe there's something to it that.
Or maybe there's different rules about it now. Maybe they don't have to do it anymore because Unreal's Unreal. It's so big,
Right.
It doesn't look like an Unreal game. That's the other thing. It doesn't even look like it doesn't look like an Unreal 4 game. It doesn't look like an Unreal 3 game. It doesn't look like a.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing though? Because if it has,
it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. But it doesn't have a distinct art style. It looks like Graven and Wrath, but like weird.
No, I'm saying that we didn't immediately guess it as an Unreal game. So surely that's kudos on the art style.
I guess so.
Sure.
Probably bears further research. I know I got fooled into thinking that the Stalker trilogy was on Game Pass the other day because Google's top searches were adamant that it was. And I was like, I am so sure it's not. And Google's like, hear me out.
Well, when I went, because after we were talking about that, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I feel like maybe that was in the trailer for the game. But then you were like, no, it's not. And then I went and looked up something about it being on Game Pass. And there were like these very misleading titles for sites talking about talking about Stalker coming to Game Pass or coming to Xbox, and then they made it, but it seemed like it was coming to Game Pass or something. It was like very misleading titles.
It wasn't even like, AI generated stuff usually takes up your top hits. Sometimes that's a little confusing. Well, I was like, well, this isn't the AI hit at the top of the Bing thing. And it's like, it is on Game Pass. It came there day one or something like it was like definitive. Like, this is what happened. It was like one or two places. And I'm just like, I'm just so sure.
Yeah. But what it is it is on Xbox and it is on Xbox day one. Like,
so anyway,
well, I'm sure it'll come to Game Pass eventually. We just got to wait long enough. Yeah. And I bet you'll probably come on Game Pass the day Stalker 2 comes out as well. And it'll be like a stalker day, for them.
Stalker day, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Stalker
day.
Guys,
I can't imagine.
You guys, do you think I Am Fury matches up to the myth of the build engine Trinity? Do you think there should be 4 games now?
I mean, as someone who hasn't actually played the game at all.
Oh,
but
really?
Just on I haven't played it. It's something. Yeah, I lose sleep about it every night. But it's something I really want to play, and I would like to play Aftershock as well. I really love build engine games, and honestly believe that build engine does not get enough credit for what it did as far as at the literally the same year that Quake was bringing in full 3D and all that, like big arenas and everything. The same year. Build Engine's like, hey, we're still technically not really 3D, but we got a lot of cool like environmental interactivity and
it's
like
got personality.
Yeah, and there's more detailed environments and things that like Quake does not have at all.
And it's wild to me. That was part of why playing Duke 3D for the first time was so eye-opening and in a way revolutionary for me. Was because I was like, you did all this in 1996 with a 2.5D engine just before Quake came out, and this feels like just as smooth. It has so much more character.
They use the texture scrolling to allow you to look up, which is so jarring if you play it today. But like if you play like the remastered World Tour version, which is the first time I ever played it, was what I played. When you play that and you can actually do real 3D is pretty cool. But when you go back to the texture scrolling, it's like I showed my fiance and she was like, "Yep, that's giving me motion sickness."
I used the Build GDX source port to play the game, and it looks fantastic. Like I didn't get any sort of because like I playing Hexen when I was playing Hexen and the texture scrolling in that when you're playing it on GZ Doom, that can be pretty jarring. That can be like for someone.
So did you just play through the entire base game, or did you also play like the
expansions?
Yeah, the expansions like the 2 that were not included with World Tour.
No. So like, I played through the base game.
Thanks, Randy.
So I played through the 3 episodes, the base game that was released.
Yeah.
I'm planning on playing the 4th episode that was released with the Atomic Edition later the year that it came out.
It was like
Alien World Order.
No, that's the World
Birth.
Tour.
Right.
So there's
because there's the one where he goes to the beach or so. I keep forgetting the names.
Well, so in World Tour there's 4 episodes. I think the first expansion is technically the 4th episode or whatever, and then they have the 5th episode. No, the 5th episode is the Alien World Order, whatever, exclusive to that, but the original or whatever, the Atomic Edition, and then the one came after that. There was like the Planet of the Babes or something. I think was the beach one. Something like that. And then there was
Duke Does DC,
something like that.
Yeah.
Then there was another one. There was like a couple of them that
there was a bunch.
People were upset that they were not included with the World Tour Edition because. They were on the version that they released on like Xbox 360, which if I would have known that was a thing, I would have played that shit forever ago.
Yeah. You'd think a minute, if Shadow Warrior can bloody get all the expansions in there, you'd think something like Duke Nukem could. He is a bigger character. And Blood got the expansions.
Yeah, but look who was in charge of releasing that version of the product.
I know.
You're reading my mind.
I knew the name would come up.
Medium.
That guy
and we're all probably thinking of bloody Civi or something.
I personally, I love Gearbox, but I don't know what was. I mean, it had to have been a Randy decision not to include it. I feel like it had to be because like it would make no sense otherwise. I don't know, maybe because I'm assuming he wasn't involved with those expansions, so maybe that's why he didn't do them. I'm being honest, like I think genuinely he was not involved because he was working on it like he came along. I think it was like near the end of development of Duke 3D, and then he was like full like director and stuff, and like level designer or something for Shadow Warrior. And I don't think he was involved with Blood. He was involved with Shadow Warrior and something else.
Now, Robert, you know that Randy Pitchford is deeply involved in every game that was big in the 90s, no matter whether he was there or not.
That's true.
But you think if he owns the IP, regardless of whether he was involved or not, if there's money to be made for Gearbox in it, he would have said yes to it.
I think that he probably didn't include them because he wasn't involved in them, and he wanted to be involved in the Alien World Order, which he was, and he also brought back Level Lord and several other original developers. And I personally really like Alien World Order, and they finally, for the first time, made it to where he, because in the base game you can find the Doom reference where he's like, "That's one doomed space marine," which is great, right? Behind the upside down cross in that one room. And then in Alien World Order, there's an Egyptian map, and I love Egypt anyway. And if you go around and you get on top of the little walls, you can go into the middle, and there's like a small pyramid, and then you drop down in the corner. There's Serious Sam, and it's like, "Why so serious, Sam?" And it's great.
Nice.
Because like Duke and Sam have had this like this rivalry because of fans, like ever since the original game. And like
he tries calling him, doesn't he? In the Serious Sam games, he calls him from the phone.
In Serious Sam, in I think it was first encounter, second encounter, and 3. Yeah. He like calls him up and he's like, "Hey man, I need help. You come save, and like he's like he's like, "What? He's not there. What do you mean?" Or something. And then like later, I think it was like in 3, he's like makes another joke. I forget what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, the alien guys, they say, "You said the same thing about that Blondie guy."
Yeah.
They're referring to Duke.
Yeah, and Serious Sam too, yeah. But honestly, it makes almost too much sense to have like because of the fact that like Crow Team has always viewed Serious Sam as like this. It's like they're always pushing the tech of like how many enemies and how much explosions and crap, but they've never like the game's always been a B tier thing. Like it's never more than that. They act like they can make it more than that, but it's never been more than that.
You think so? I think the third game perhaps had the closest potential of being a AAA when you look at it.
It definitely was trying, I think, with the third game, but I don't.
Yeah, but it was.
The fourth game is very obviously AA, but the third game had that modern military shooter feel to its large
because
scale.
it was gonna be Doom 4, and then they had to scrap it, and then they literally had to throw a game together and pull it straight out of their ass just to make it work.
Wild to me. It's still so wild.
But that game is also entirely different. So it's the most boring game on earth when you play the first when you play the first one?
The third, it's my favorite one out of all.
When you play like the first act or whatever, when you play like the first act, it's like the most boring shit on earth. It's so like linear and slow, and it's so not Serious Sam. Then you get past that, and it's like balls to the walls, Serious Sam all the way. Yeah. That's when it gets good. But most people like me get pushed away when they first play it because it's so bad at the beginning, and then it gets good later on.
I played a little bit of it co-op with my brothers. They were like really excited about it, and we played a little bit of that first act, and we just got so bounced out. Like I never went further than that. So to hear all that, I'm like, okay, let me go back. Let me try this again. Let's see.
Yeah,
it's pretty solid if you get past that.
Yeah, I bought the Serious Sam collection on Stadia when it came out, and I played all of them. All the first encounter, second encounter, BFE, and the 2 DLCs. So to me, I believe that the second encounter is the better game of all of them. By the time I had finished the third game, I was like a certifiable Serious Sam fan. I'd experienced all of it. So to me, the third game isn't the best, but it is the one where I was like, this is a character that I want to play his future games.
That's cool.
Yeah, I kind of made up I don't feel the same way about Duke Nukem. I think that he is an overrated character, and not in the kind of he's outdated sort of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't feel it. I feel Caleb. I feel Lo Wang. Mm-hmm, and certainly with Shelley Harrison as well. You know what the hell I mean.
Oh, I know how much Wang you're feeling these days. I have a
have you played the expansion? He's got a brother called Hung Lo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
wow.
God.
Just that game.
I'm feeling Hung Lo. Okay, I'm feeling Hung Lo. But Duke Nukem, though, he just seems like he's trying to be cool, and it kind of puts me off. So even though I have the 20th anniversary one, I've only played. I'm stuck in space at the moment. And
Okay.
I don't really feel. I know it's near the beginning of the game. It's like the second episode or something.
It is. Yeah.
Ion Fury is a game that I could not put it down, and I felt the same way about same way about Dusk and Medieval, Ion Fury, Proteus, Cultic, Bolt Gun, and Turbo Overkill. Those are games that I could not put down as soon as I started them. Duke Nukem, I could kind of take it or leave it. I find.
But what about
It was definitely a game for me as a kid. It never really gelled for me, which is why it took me almost 30 years to actually come around and play the whole thing. There's a moment in the second level, Red Light District, that's the one with the strip club. So you go in, and I'm like, got my chain gun out, I open the doors, strip club, music is blaring, lights are flashing, I walk in, turn to the right, there's the pig cop, there's the alien commanders, and I like duck down and I'm shooting at them. And suddenly, my brain clicked. Like right up until that moment, I was like, yeah, this feels like it's trying too hard. This feels like it's just being loud and boisterous, just to be loud and boisterous. And when that happened, it's like money is flying because I'm shooting the like tables and the walls, and I'm like finally landing my targets, and they're shooting at me back. And it clicked. And I'm like, this is like a fucking 80s Stallone movie. This is like a Schwarzenegger movie. And I am right here in the middle of it. And I am in the club. I am shooting the things. And I was just like, I know what this is. I get it. I know what I'm doing now. And it was just like, it's one of those things where like, if you can lock into that just like over masculine, testosterone laden, scene chewing, bullet spewing nonsense, just turn off your brain and go for it. It's like the greatest thing ever. But like, if it doesn't work for you, then it's not going to. And I think that's a very important thing about Duke, though. Like, it doesn't work for everyone. It's a great game, but it's not going to work for everyone.
I think a lot of it also is that, and I've forgotten which YouTuber said it. I don't know if it was G-Man or Civi, but they said that it's not as difficult a game as Blood or as Blood or Shadow Warrior. And I think a lot of perhaps the reason why I haven't really gotten into it is that it's not as difficult. I agree with that statement. So to me, it's not as balls to the wall. So it doesn't really grab me every moment of it. I love everything that you just said then in terms of, how it appeals to you. It's just
I had a headset issue. So there's gonna be a section there where it's gonna go into my Discord settings that you'll have to like cut out if you use my audio or my video. I had a headset problem, so I got earbuds in now, so I can still hear you guys.
Right, okay. That's cool. I've dealt with it 100 times now. I'm a seasoned veteran of editing this podcast.
It happens.
The first time when we started doing it, I had no idea how to edit it because it was a new concept, this live gameplay thing. It took me 8 hours to edit the first video. And then it took me, I think it was like the fourth video or something like that I got it down to like 6 hours. And then when shit really goes bad, I'm editing over 2 days for like 12, 13 hours.
The fun part about doing something like this is that there's always those hidden variables, those like things that just happen like that, like a headset going out, or like, oh man, your gameplay's not working, or this. And even it doesn't matter. You could do this for like years, and there's always going to be something that happens. It's just the way of technology.
You think it'd be a simple concept? I take your footage, I take the gameplay, and just put them in the timeline and export.
Right.
And it's never ever that way. There's always like someone's lips go out of sync or something like that.
Yeah. There's always weird things. Sometimes Discord decides, hey, we're not gonna, like right now, like I'm synced up really well, but like sometimes we'll do one and like Discord's like, not today. And I'll have to like reset my my audio settings.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's good. Sometimes we have episodes where like my mouth just never syncs up with what I'm saying. I'm always behind like 2 seconds or something. Right now it's good, but like sometimes it's not.
Yeah, I went to go boot up my computer just to get on with you guys, and my monitor wouldn't turn on at first. Like I was really worried I was gonna have to message you like, I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
but I don't know what's going on. I shut the whole thing down, turned it back on, unplugged it, plugged it back in, and it's working clearly. But I was just like, oh.
I was wondering because I've seen your screen kind of flash green for a sec when you've like moved your hand. I was like, oh no, did you bump it? And like the connection went because I've hit it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Are you able to join from your phone? I mean, say shit like that does go down again.
Oh yeah, for sure. I could do that.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, in the moment, didn't even think about that. So that's I think that's one of the beautiful things about you guys doing this and having gone through the steps is like, well, okay, your monitor isn't working. Can you join through your phone? Like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a great point.
I've recorded a podcast that way before where someone couldn't come to their computer or whatever, and they just joined a call wherever they were, which was pretty interesting. Quality of audio is different when it's like that, but it's interesting. But no,
oh my god, the audio was so bad. So bad.
Ruby,
when we first
what
started,
is yeah, definitely. But I was gonna say, Ruby, what's like one of your favorite, or even just your favorite first-person shooter of like all time? If you had to name one right now off the top of your head, without thinking too hard about it, favorite.
Quake.
It's a tough one, I know.
Quake easily, Sweet. But then
well, yeah,
I
Quake
mean,
Dad.
That's a surprise.
yeah, Quake is the pinnacle for me. Quake will always be the pinnacle. It literally changed my perspective on computer gaming, on first-person shooters. The combination of the aesthetic, 9 Inch Nails soundtrack. That's how I got into 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, actually, I recently beat Quake like the end of last year, and or was it the end of last year or early this year? I can't remember, but I beat it, and I think it was the end of last year. And so I played it. I think I played a little bit of Quake 2, and I'd seen stuff on like Quake 3 or in like Quake 4 and all that, but like there's something about that first game, and after playing through it, and I haven't beat the expansions yet, but the Gothic Cthulhu like setting is so perfect. And also I'm not a big fan of Doom 2, and I've been over that a few times. But
same.
I think personally that Quake is a better sequel to Doom than Doom 2. I think like the transition from Doom 1 to Quake is such a natural, like interesting jump that it makes more sense. And in all fairness, technically Quake like is Doom 2. It's just like Doom 2 only happened because they're like, okay, well, this is a really good thing. Let's make this in another like 4 months. And they did that while they were like coming up with the idea of what would become Quake. So
yeah, I mean, because Carmack wasn't even that involved with Doom 2 because he was too busy making the Quake engine.
Exactly. And also Doom 2 isn't even like, it's more of like a standalone expansion than it is like an actual sequel more than anything.
Why a lot of people say it's not really an evolution of it, it's just a glorified map pack
and I think the best thing about Doom 2 is the super shotgun, but outside of that I don't like most of the levels. I'm more of a John Romero level fan than I am like a Sandy Peterson level fan.
I mean, God, fucking
like,
Sandy.
Feel the pain. I'm like,
Sandy's a troll. Sandy is a fucking troll, and like God bless him for that. But like at the same time, like, dude, Monster Condo, what the shit? Oh my God!
I loved the whole like the whole meme and joke that happened with every time Sandy would say something, and John Romero has the that condition where he like literally remembers like everything in great detail.
Yes.
And he would come and, well, actually, Sandy, and then that was just a big thing forever. And
they're like, great. Hey Sandy, hope this finds you well. And you're like,
yep.
Here comes John.
And he would just like, it's like a 2-paragraph thing of correcting it. It's like, actually, we ate 5 Pizza Hut pizzas that morning, and then we went and made this level and this level, and so you said it was this, but actually that was the 4th level. And then you're like, gosh, man, how do you remember so much stuff? Like, it's crazy to like think of people who have that ability. Like, I have a pretty good memory, and I can remember a lot of things from pretty far back, but not like that deep. I couldn't tell you what I ate that morning, who I talked to, but I can tell you certain things I did, but like
this last week and a half, I haven't known what day it is. I don't know what day of the month it is right now. Is it Star Wars Day? Is it May the 4th be with you or some shit like that?
That's right. It's funny because this
25.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
This last Thursday, like for some reason I woke up Thursday and thinking it was Friday.
Oh,
and
I hate that.
every single person that I talked to, and everybody at work and everything thought it was Friday. Like everybody thought it was Friday. Every customer that came in thought it was Friday. Like
There
everybody
was
thought it was Friday.
some
I don't know what's going
weird
on.
like gravitational stuff in the air on Thursday, man. That was a weird day for everyone.
Yeah, it was just something was going on. I don't know what it was.
When you work for yourself and you work from home like I do, kind of every day.
Yeah, just rub it in. Rub it in, Robert. Rub it in.
No, I'm talking
not on
about
camera.
it
Jesus Christ.
it's
Oh shit! I'm sorry, dude. Oh, I'm sorry, dude.
I had just drank some of that lemonade. It about went everywhere.
Every dad wants to get that reaction. Yes,
dude. At work a little while back, someone made a joke. One of my friends did, and I was drinking coffee, and I was drinking a cup of coffee, and I took a sip. He did that, and it went straight out my nose. And like, dude, I could literally, I smelled coffee all day. Like it was.
But what I was gonna say was that kind of every day feels like the same day.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
when you work for yourself, the problem is you never really turn off. You know, I'm doing a podcast at 11:30 at night, and I'll be working again at 8:30 in the morning, and that's on a weekend.
Yeah.
And when you're working from home, it does kind of become like a prison almost, and that you're constantly looking. You've got 10 minutes free. Oh, let me just go over to the laptop and do a little work. An hour later,
it's kind of like what we were talking about with
there.
Blondie, where we were talking about in last episode, where there's the positive and negative sides of like doing what you love for a job or working for yourself. Like there's positive and negative. You get a certain amount of freedom and you get a certain amount of freedom taken away. You're like, oh, I'm doing something I love. But at the same time, it's also a job, and like if I don't do well enough, then I'm literally dependent on the income or whatever comes from this kind of thing.
I'd never go back to a corporate job though, especially after the way they treated me.
Oh, dude.
Well, most of them are pretty bad. I mean, everybody. Yeah,
that's well. I got. I used to work in a call center. And I used to be what's called a workforce planning analyst, and you're the guy that creates the rotas and books in the holidays and stuff. And they have an aspect of it called real time, which is you watch all the people that are on the phones, making sure that you're going to lunch at the right time, etc. And slowly over time, that job kind of got phased out and given to the call center managers. So I got the call one day saying, unfortunately, your services are no longer required. Then they contacted on the same day my partner who worked for the same company. I'm sorry, your services are no longer required. Both got me redundant on the same day. And then a week later, I got a call saying, your job is kind of back. There are reduced responsibilities for a reduced salary, which is back down to a salary I was making 10 years before when I was working for that company. And they said you can have this reduced salary if you want to, and you have to compete against it for other interviewees. I'm like, you want me to fight for a lesser version of my old job back? And I just walked away after that.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, I'd been running the S35 network for a few years at that point, so I knew how to do all the social media and the videos, and I just white labeled out those services, and it kind of snowballed from there, and then I became...
So that is your entire, that's your whole company, right? Like the whole thing?
Yeah. It is, yeah. So the S35 network has technically 5 brands underneath it right now. There are 3 more that are in flux, which is a ASMR channel, a nature channel, and a travel channel. There is one that's called Watchfine as well, which is like Watch Mojo. It's a compilation one. HyperVerse is one of 20 different brands under the S35 network that I have planned. 20.
Wow.
Yeah. And currently as it exists right now, there is HyperVerse under S35 network. There is S35 Film, S35 TV, Watchfine, and then the other 3 that I was talking about. I had a nervous breakdown trying to work it all, and I said I need to concentrate on one of them. Which one do I care about the most? And it was gaming. And then I was like, okay, now I'm into this. What kind of plan can I come up with? Part podcasts. Podcast is a great idea. Let's start a podcast.
Really
so
is.
I started.
And that's where the dream team came together.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Avengers
Yeah.
Assemble.
The triple hit, well, quadruple hit. When we got a fantastic guest like RubyRanger on, who shall be returning.
Exactly.
No doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the few games that I've gotten for review, that I try to be as unbiased as possible, technically, but it's like, I mean, I got something for free, so in the back of your mind, there's already a slight bias because that's just impossible to not have. And then on top of that, if it's something that you are actually interested in, like the first one I got was on a 3D platformer. I'm a huge fan of 3D platformers. It was a game I was already planning on buying at some point, and then I get it for free, and I get to play it for a month before I have to review it, and I'm like, this is the freaking coolest shit in the world.
Yeah.
And was there some bias when I reviewed it? 100%. But I still judged it based on bugs and issues and things that it had, and clipping on objects and blah, blah, blah. And I put it in there, and I was still told that I was too positive on the game, which is just something you can't avoid, right? You're telling people it's a good game, but it actually has tons of bugs. I'm like, yeah, it can have tons of bugs, but I'm still giving you my opinion. I don't get paid to review stuff, so I'm not going to sit there and be like,
there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a perfect product. You look at Jurassic Park, and that is not a perfect movie by any means. There's a lot of little errors and cuts and stuff like that, but nobody cares because it's fucking Jurassic Park.
Exactly. That's another thing. So it's it goes into a whole nother conversation. I think nowadays people lack any form of patience and any form of hey, guess what? This is a video game. Mm-hmm. It's not a perfect thing. It's literally systems and programs and shit that makes a thing. And there's stuff that is not possible to be accounted for. There's bugs that are going to happen that no one's ever going to see. 1 million people could look at it and it can never be seen. It'll pop up for the one guy in the entire world. And people don't get that. Someone experiences a few bugs. I remember 10, 15 years ago, people were like, oh man, I clipped through the floor in that game. That shit was funny as hell. Now it's damn, I clipped through the floor in that game. It's so immersion breaking. It's just the worst game ever. It's a 0 out of 10. I wish I could get my life back now.
Anytime I
get over it.
Anytime I review anything of any kind of media, my personal score is always based on not how well done it was, how few flaws it had, but how well the media as a whole distracted me from those flaws. So there's going to be bugs in everything. There's going to be breakage in everything. Even if it's minor or whatever, whether you see it or not, you're going to run into flaws. Everything is put together by human beings, so nothing is perfect. But if it can distract you from the flaws, keep you entertained despite the flaws, as long as the flaws are not so egregious, then I don't see a problem in giving it a good score or recommending it. If the problems are so much that you can't be distracted from it, then that's a different conversation. But if it is, if the game or the movie or whatever is so entertaining and so good that you're I know this isn't perfect, but my God, what a time.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's a recommendation.
And it brings me to something that I'm actually probably going to talk about coming up kind of soon, hopefully. But it's with the whole thing with it's always been the thing with Bethesda games is they've always been fundamentally somewhat broken games because they use an engine that's as old as Morrowind, and it's always a modified version of the same engine all the way up to Starfield. Mm-hmm. But the thing that people like about the game is the adventure and the world and everything they create around that. But they've always been by far some of the most buggy, messy games on the market. And they've never, and even though Skyrim is the most beloved thing in all of existence, I want to tell you, it never even pushed the bar even at the time that it came out. It didn't actually push a bar. It didn't even look better than anything when it came out. But it was a good game, and that's fine. But it's one of those things where it also blows my mind that people look back at Skyrim, when I'm someone who put 1,000+ hours when it came out and everything.
What?
No shit. I put
where do you find 1,000 hours? My God.
You're a kid in middle school, so.
Yeah, I think 200 into Fallout 4.
Yeah. I put 200 into.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put 200 into Fallout 4 as well. But
when it
it's
hits,
one of those
man.
things. Yeah, and when people look back at Skyrim like it's like this like masterpiece that never had any issues, then look at Starfield and they're like, man, it's so broken and glitchy and this. And I'm like, have you guys played Bethesda games? Like,
right.
But it's
I would not have had the experience
giant these days. That's kind of the problem.
Yeah, it's also like
everybody
also
really
like,
likes
oh my
to find
goodness,
the chink in the armor and just fucking hammer that shit. Like they can't wait.
It's also
for
like,
the
oh
game
my
to
goodness, like
be both the best thing they've ever
do you
played
guys
and round get behind it.
Yeah. And the thing that I also think is funny is like I always hear like Fallout 4 and like Starfield, they're not really RPGs. There's not that much RPG. I'm like, did you play Skyrim? Like it's not either. Like it's actually not an RPG really. Like I would almost go as far as to say it's not an RPG at all. Like Skyrim is,
like
is just an adventure game. There's no choice. There's no consequence. Nothing you do affects anything. The endings are the same. There's not more than one ending. Everything is linear. You can experience everything in the game. Nothing's barred off by doing certain quests. Nothing's barred off by joining this faction. You can join every single faction in the game. You can be a vampire and join the werewolves. They'll just do a ceremony to get rid of your vampirism and give you lycanism. Like it's
Do you guys feel
it blows my mind.
If when you do your reviews, you guys do reviews and I don't, so I'd like to kind of pick your brains about it.
Yeah.
By reviews, I mean you explore the game and then you kind of give a conclusion, maybe from the score.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you have to give a slightly positive review on what you're doing to maintain good relations with the publisher and kind of gloss over things perhaps that are, if a game is genuinely terrible, would you genuinely say that it's terrible, even if it meant that publisher would never work with you again?
I'll start off with an answer because I'm gonna have the shortest one, which is I wouldn't even review it if I didn't like it at all. Like I would refuse to even play the game if I played it and I genuinely thought it was an absolutely terrible game. I wouldn't play it. I'd make a post on Twitter or something saying it's a fucking dog shit game, but I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't review it because like why would I put time and effort into reviewing something that is not worth my time in the first place?
I agree, but what if the message you're giving is something that people out there need to hear, that the game is bad?
I actually have a really great example of that. So real early on in my YouTubing, I played the early access of Viscera Fest. So I played episode 1 when it dropped. And there was a lot that I did like, and there was a lot that I didn't like. And I specifically in my video touched on the save point system and how I felt like it didn't work with the intended difficulty and how the systems in place weren't working together for that save system to be effective in the game. And I felt, like in saying that I had kind of had a little bit of contact with the developer Ozreek and Fireplant Games. And so I was like a little nervous going into that, right? Because I'm like, I've been chatting with these guys on Twitter and we've been talking, and I'm about to drop this video and I'm going to be heavily criticizing some aspects of it. And so I released the video and, on Twitter, we had a conversation about it and they were talking about like, well, this was the intended effect and this is this. And I'm like, yeah, I totally hear you. And this is why it didn't work for me. And this is why I think this. We ended up having this great conversation back and forth versus having a like, well, why didn't you like it? Like, it works this way. So why don't you like it? And we ended up having this conversation back and forth. And a little bit later, I came back to the game and they'd implemented some changes. And they specifically implemented changes around the save system, which had made it better. And I had taken the time to really like, okay, I see what you're doing. Let me try this again. And the combination of the re-examination and the changes that they had made ended up in a much better game overall. Like
I think in that scenario, I definitely think like what's like, for instance, like the things that I criticized in like Ad Infernum or even Clive and Wrench. Like I get that, like you can, criticize heavily something, but like if what I mean, like, but I don't know if because like if that was made it like an absolutely terrible game, maybe. But yeah, I get like if you mostly enjoy something or whatever, and then you criticize all these different elements because you're like, this could be something that could be fixed or changed, especially something in early access. Yeah, but like I think, and like Robert was saying, like if you review something like that and like maybe your opinion, depending, like if I had like more of a following and like I don't know, I had thousands upon thousands of people or something, millions of people watching my review of like it's like like G-Man reviewing Starfield or something, you know what I mean? Like something like that. And I was getting money to play it and whatever. Then I would have an incentive to be like, okay, I have so many people following me. I'm getting paid. I'm definitely going to be like, okay, this is a terrible game or this is not a terrible game. But in the case of like, if an indie developer is like, hey, you want to play my game and review it? I'm like, yeah, cool. You know, there's no money, there's no expectation. I have a few hundred people that maybe watch my videos, and then I'm like, oh, this is like probably like one of the worst things I've ever played in my life. And then I'm like, well, okay. I mean, I could make a video and say, okay, look, guess what, guys? It's fucking dog shit. Or I could be like, hey, let me just make a Twitter post and be like, hey, I really didn't like this game that much. I gave the devs criticism, et cetera, and I'm choosing not to make a video on it because I don't feel like putting myself in that much of a negative headspace to make something. In the case of me right now, like I don't want to put myself in that negative a headspace to create something that's going to take time, especially even more so if it's something that I'm gonna have to crunch to do in a short period of time for like a game. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't make the video.
Yeah, I think for me, the only time I would not make a video if it's a game that I can clearly tell is not something that I'm going to enjoy, not because it's good or bad, but because it's not the type of game that's for me. I did get a game sent to me. I'm not going to say which one because it really doesn't matter. It's a game that a lot of people enjoy, but I didn't like it personally. And I was given the build and I was like, cool, yeah, I'll check it out. I'll play it. And I tried playing it and I was like, this is just so not my style. Like, this is so not for me. Like, I should kind of at least be a little bit into this, but I'm so not into it. And there are enough people who do like it. There's just no point in me talking about a game that I wouldn't play normally. And I don't need to rain on that parade. Like if something is bad, I'm going to say it's bad. Like if something is good, I'm going to say it's good. If it's somewhere in between, I've had a couple of early access games that I've reviewed where I was like, this is in a very rough place. And there's a lot of things that prevent it from being either great or good. But there is enough here at this point in early access where I would say it's worth the investment to pay the developer to help them flesh this out, because there's enough here that if they can flesh it out, it's going to be super good. To go back to Robert's original question about like, you know, relations with devs or with publishers, like that's not something that I have the luxury of thinking about, because I don't want the idea of whether or not I'm inadvertently cutting ties or whether or not I am potentially breaking some invisible pact with someone to prevent me from giving an honest opinion about a game. Like, if I say that I don't like a game or that it doesn't work, it's because that's my full impression of the game. That's my basis on like the systems and everything that happens. And if a publisher or a developer thinks that they don't want to send me any more like games because I criticized one of their games, that's not my problem. I'm either going to like
reflection on them than it is
exactly.
I mean, you have to be open for criticism and stuff like that, as you would be during like play testing and so on.
Absolutely. Like if you can't open yourselves up for criticism, if you can't, because like a lot of like me, I take this seriously. And I know that there are some people who may or may not take it seriously. Like me, I'm grinding, I'm hustling, you know, I have kids and a partner and a day job, so I only have so much time I can devote to this. So I'm taking it as seriously as possible.
And I'm trying to do the same. Like I don't want to waste my time either.
I want to get paid to do this. I want to be trapped in my prison of a house and work for myself.
Medium, what's your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had anything like big sent to me yet that I can really like worry, like, man, this is the first time they've reached out and this is what my opinion is going to be. I wonder if I'll hurt their feelings and they'll see me as inconvenient on the public square or something. Probably the only way to really, and this is easier said than done because every game is different. Just saying something's bad does not all of a sudden make you a pariah to them. Or I should say, if you have anything bad to say, you're written off and blacklisted. It does you can be inconvenient to where they're like, maybe not that guy next time. He's a little bit, he kind of brought our average down from 95 to 90 or something like that. But
Right.
I think the only way to really get rid of all the crosstalk in your head about what should I say and how should I say it is really just to kind of check the way that you come across in general. And that may be just a good thing. I know I was watching a stream, and I won't say it was on who, and he was basically saying to change, and Ranger knows what I'm talking about here, if this may help him, that basically saying, I'm so tired of seeing the guys who just get in there and they're just like, it's just me and the community and we're all equals and, we all want the same things. I can't stand this in this game. This sucks. This is terrible. This is good though. And then that's the review. It's just sort of like a litany of like things that you'll react to, you'll have bad or good feelings about. And he was like trying to.
Yeah. And that comes across as a very, like structured video of, hey, I'm going to get these really bad like things that are just whatever. Maybe they're not even like very concrete, so that I get those views. And usually they have a thumbnail and a title that's like, this is absolutely terrible. And then like you get near the end and it's like turns into like something legitimate, like a actual review. But they don't think people will make it that far, so they make it really bad at the beginning. Such a weird thing, like a tactic that people do to get views and stuff.
Yeah, so it's easy to do it. It's
like
easy to formulate it that way. I guess the thing that for me that like for Dragon's Dogma 2 was kind of a minefield, the thing I just reviewed recently. And I knew it would be because people are like, this is my game of the year. And, people are attached to it right away, even though it's only been 4 months of the year and next nothing has come out. But don't worry, it's going to stay on course the next 8 months, no matter what comes out.
Yeah. Can you say Deathloop?
Right.
I played Deathloop.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into Deathloop at all. I played like half an hour.
Just play Redfall and Deathloop will become so much better to you. And you'll be like,
yes,
that's actually true.
I guess I can
very,
play that
very
for
easy
longer.
to do. Okay, so we've probably only got like a few more minutes before we wrap up, so I'm gonna end it with just a big question. I'm gonna each person individually answer, which is like, what is your favorite build engine game and why? We'll start with medium.
My favorite build engine game is Blood. If it wasn't for the fact that Doom is eternal, Blood would be probably my favorite 90s thing by far. It's just the mood, the type of I guess a genre fiction that it is the most fun to me. It's the most, kind of kooky Crypt Keeper type. It's just pulpy, and it's got the most personality, I think. I like Lil Wang and Shadow Warrior a lot, but the game to me is not nearly as imaginative in the way it draws out all that fiction. And Blood's one of the few like really hard games that's so hard it almost desensitizes you to it, where you aren't as mad about it anymore. It doesn't give you the impression that it's remotely interested in you progressing. So you're just like, well, as far as I get, that's pretty good, right? That's like my approach to Dark Souls games. I'm just happy I'm here. I'm just happy I'm at the third bonfire or something, or the second, third level. And then of course once you get real weapons in that game, you really start to just bash through it. It's a lot more fair. But yeah, Blood for sure. Duke Nukem, like Robert was saying, I don't dislike it. I just don't have like an affinity for anything that's happening. It's just very sort of like it needs more flavor or something to me. And Shadow Warrior has more of the flavor. That's a lot of fun. Some of the level design's really good in that. But yeah, Blood's the funniest to me, or excuse me, the Caleb's the funniest to me, and also he's got the best backstory too. I really like his, rise.
I feel like I would say Blood probably if I played more Blood. I haven't played enough, but it has so much like that horror nostalgia in it and stuff, like Evil Dead and all that in there, which is so up my alley. Like it'd be perfect. I just got to get around to playing it more.
Yeah, I still can't get out of that graveyard. That maze.
Yeah, we were at in the episode.
This is when I first met you guys months and months ago, and I still haven't progressed.
That was a blow to my confidence. I was like, we're going to get him out of here because it's just over here. The one place we haven't looked yet. He's just like going in circles. I'm like, I've done this before. I'm so sorry.
God, that's the worst feeling. You're like, no, I got this. I'm so confident, and then you just can't get him through, and you're like, no.
All right, so Robert, what is your favorite build engine game?
Iron Fury, baby. I would say that in terms of sheer entertainment, Shadow Warrior has it for me, but that's because I'm a big Chop Socky fan. I grew up with Jackie Chan and stuff, so that thing, speaks to me, which is odd because I grew up with Schwarzenegger and Stallone as well, and I grew up watching loads of horror movies. You'd think maybe this is why build engine games are my favorite games but Iron Fury, it's like build engine, but it's more. It's bigger.
because it's modern.
It's more detailed. I mean, you can do headshots in this build engine game. You know,
Oh wow!
It's just
And how
it's
Loverboy. That's right.
Yeah, it's more. The music is staggeringly brilliant. The pace of it is non-stop. The character is engaging. I mean, there's a reason why it's one of the games that started. You know, this current thingy.
So Ruby, have you played any other build engine games aside from Duke?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So what would yours be?
Tech War.
You son of a bitch.
It is the most entertainingly, hilariously wonderful experience. It is so much fun. Like, you get up to the cyberspace segment and like there is so much you can break. There is so much that you can explore. Like, if it is a fascinating game to examine, because if it was in better hands, it would have been like, it would be Cyberpunk, which would be incredible. But as just a like, let me get into something like, just you're in the bus station at the beginning. No, the train station at the beginning. You open up you go into the men's room, you open up the stall door, and there's the dude sitting on the toilet. It's just like, what the hell are we doing? It is so hilarious. It's so much fun, and you can literally clear the whole game in half an hour if you know what you're doing. And like, all the other build engine games, like I played Witch Haven. I almost said Witch Haven for half a second.
I haven't played Witch Haven.
Witch Haven is fascinating. Witch Haven is really fascinating, and like, it's entertaining up to a point. Like, if it wasn't such a frustrating slog in some ways, it is very janky. But you know what? There was this one thing that I did where I was trying to cross a pit and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I got out my bow and arrow because I realized that like, if I shot an arrow into a wall, I could stand on it. So I shot a row of arrows along the wall over the pit, and then I was able to walk across the arrows in the wall to get over it. And that elevated that experience for me.
Yeah, that's almost like an MSIM level of like systemic
really
nature.
does.
It takes a lot to make
It's
that
interesting.
suck after that.
RubyRanger out here championing the lesser build engine.
Like, don't get me wrong. Other build engine games in those are much better games. Yeah. Duke is much blood. They're much better games overall. You will have a much better quality experience. But like, I have not been able to get Tech War out of my head, just for like sheer hilarity, for the experience. Just anytime I play it, I'm sitting there locked in, like, how did we do this? How did we get it? It's absolutely Tech War.
So for me, like, I'm a big Duke fan. I really like Duke, but I have to go with Shadow Warrior probably. I think Shadow Warrior is kind of Duke, but better in like every way. Shadow Warrior is pretty awesome. I just, just the setting, the themes, the jokes are even better.
The casual race.
Well, you get that in Duke with sexism, and you get that.
It's true. I will say, I think
even,
that as long. No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was saying, even the thing that it was criticized for, the casual race, even that carried over to the reboot. They didn't even get rid of that.
It's definitely like not as bad in like Shadow Warrior reboot, Shadow Warrior 2 and 3, but still there, very much so, still there.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things where like, as long as we acknowledge it and remember, like, look, because
I think
this was
the original actor was actually white. And then they actually got an Asian guy to do at least 2 and 3, I think. I don't know if they did the reboot one or not.
So we saw that worked out.
But it's okay for him to do it. So
guys, the casual racism's a feature, not a bug. Okay.
Thanks, Todd Howard.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well,
cool.
You don't mess with the wang. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah. It's too much wang for one man. Yeah.
Shake it, baby.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Deadforge, do you want to do the outro?
Yeah, I mean, after I just threw money and you didn't do anything, I might as well.
What?
So I went
sorry.
like this.
Let me catch that cash.
Sorry, I left my G-string in my other pants.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh, fantastic! Love it.
I got to go back to my car. All right. Anyway,
pretty good bass impression. I'm a connoisseur of impressions. That was pretty good.
I try to actually get better at it, because I actually recorded some stuff for Hiac Show funny enough.
So
And I told him that he can do whatever he wants with those clips. He's yet to implement them, but he said that he wants to implement them into his streams for something.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, go for it.
When I do my inevitable Downer Duke reviews someday, where I'm just like, is it really that good? I'll have you on for sure. That'll be fun.
Okay, sounds great. Yeah.
It'll
be on Duke. It'll be on
how much I cry.
Yeah, it'll be on Duke Nukem forever. So we'll be like, it's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
when you can't afford Johnson John, you get Gianni, and when you can't afford Gianni, you get Deadforge.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Spread the word. I'll do it for free.
Deadforge, the Four Loko of Duke impressions.
You gotta love it.
Yeah.
That's right. All right.
I'm so jealous.
No, okay. All right. Well, anyway, it has been an awesome episode of the Quad Damage Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And thanks to everyone for being here as usual. And of course, we were looking at Ion Fury, talking build engine, having a good time, tangents, as usual.
Guys.
But either way, thank you, Ruby, for being on. And
Thank you for having me.
We hope you can be on a third time, and a fourth time, and a fifth time.
Yeah, if
eighth time,
yeah, Robert, I want to reconnect. If you want to, if you want to hold that date that we were talking about before, because I know this was kind of a last minute slot.
I put it to the guys. So you remember the original slot that Ruby was on, and we were like, can you do it this weekend instead? So instead of moving him from that date forward, we just have him in on a third time in like a month or something like that. Yeah, because it's easiest. That date's already free. You were occupying it, so come back and do it.
Just come back again. Exactly.
I love sitting down and chatting about shit. So I'll be on as many times as you guys want to have me. Just say the word and I'll schedule it in.
Yeah, Tech War next time. Yeah,
Tech War next time.
Exactly.
I have nothing to add.
We don't want. You want an audience? I don't know. Although I will say the stream that I did.
Then after that, we'll do Maze War, and then we'll go really far back and do Battlezone.
There's an audience for it, man. Both of my videos on Tech War did numbers. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I did a live stream of it. It brought in so many people, and then I did a video review of it. It brought in so many views for me. It's like one of my I don't know. It's in my top 10. It's like
that'd be like one of the more obscure ones that wouldn't do as well.
Tech War.
I found you through your vomitorium video, so I didn't catch you through your Tech War one.
Oh, thank you. Like that was such a great video to make, and it's such a great game to play. So that makes me happy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. Where can we find Medium?
Twatter at High Funk Medium, and the YouTubes at High Functioning Medium.
For now. All right, where can we find you, Robert?
HyperVerse is on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and what was the other one?
OnlyFans.
TikTok.
You're on everything except for Snapchat. Has always been the thing.
I was in Hyaksho's stream earlier today, and he was talking. Hyaksho, thanks for being.
He told you to make a Snapchat, didn't he?
It's butt naked. Yeah, Hyaksho, he loves that shit. But
I knew he was
one of his commenters, I've forgotten the name of the person, was chatting with me, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I was like that quad damage," and he goes, "I never know which one of the quad damage guys I'm actually talking to in this chat." And he actually goes, "It's the one from HyperVerse." I was like, "Oh, okay."
That's funny.
Okay.
He thought that he could have been talking to any of us.
I guess he assumes it's like a public chat that we all just sort of like assume control over at random times.
Yeah.
But, of course, you can find me at Deadforge on YouTube, Lord of the RPG on Twitter, Deadforge on Patreon, and I guess I could say Deadforge on Twitch if you want to go there. I never stream, so. But if you feel like it, go ahead and stop on by. Listen, Robert, maybe they want to do it anyway.
Oh,
okay, just for the chance. Just for the chance that I stream, okay?
Yeah.
You could do one of those Twitch streams and have like the blur bar across your stuff and be, the bathtub Twitch stream or something. There could be an audience there. You never know.
Can we do that for our next Quad Damage, where we all four of us get together? The bathtub podcast.
Hell yeah.
Okay, well, where can we find you, Ruby?
You can find me on YouTube, RubyRanger. You can find me on Twitter, also RubyRanger. You can find me on Patreon, surprisingly, also RubyRanger.
There we go.
The hell?
All
Not
right,
to
well-
confuse anyone, but somehow still also
No,
RubyRanger.
I was in my
Well-
research for this episode. I noticed that on Twitter, don't you have 2 R's at the end of your handle? Technically,
I do, because for some reason the original, like, RubyRanger just by itself was taken. So like a lot of like I think it's also on Patreon. Also, it's RubyRanger with 2 R's. YouTube RubyRanger with 2 R's. Twitter RubyRanger with 2 R's at the end. I thought I was picking up something that was a little unique, but I wasn't. I'm not as original as I like to think.
isn't that
I
the
am.
best? No matter who has your name, they never do anything with it. They're like the most inactive account you'll ever see. It's like,
Oh
guy
yeah,
just
and you
took his
can't get
phone
it.
and took his picture. And
Yeah,
he was like
does
the
it-
best
You know
name.
what's funny
Do
is that
nothing
there was
with it.
actually back when my name was Lord of the RPG. There's actually another YouTube channel, and I think another Twitter potentially that had Lord of the RPG, but in a different way, or something like that, and they just did nothing. There was actually another podcast that was like something gaming, like bounty board like. It was something similar, but like structured differently. And they also like did nothing, but they were like a podcast on Spotify. And I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah, this is why
least
it's
they're
called
using it, right?
HyperVerse. There's HyperVerse Gaming on here, 2 subscribers. Motherfucker, do something with yourself. I couldn't name myself because of that. 2 subscribers.
Dude, seriously, let
And they
it
took
go.
the damn username.
Yeah,
just send him a
But
cease and
all right,
fuck off.
So
Do you think
well,
Randy
anyway, it was-
Pitchford just has all of these accounts because like he doesn't do anything with Duke, so he's not going to do anything with any of these? He's
That
just
Randy-
acquiring shit to do nothing with it.
Right. I think
Go
it was
do
you
some
that told
magic
us,
tricks.
Ruby. I think it was you that told us the first time. One of my favorite lines was, "I think he just likes the idea of having the Duke license. He doesn't need to do anything with it. It's just like a trophy on a shelf." And he's like,
I'm pretty sure a lot of people have said that. Like he just likes to collect the things. He doesn't even care about the things. He just likes the things.
"Yeah." He
It's
just doesn't.
true.
But
want to
anyway.
have
he
it.
even God, he said it. I forget where it was. It was on stage at some conference, and he was like, "I love a good joke. I mean, hell, I owned the Duke Nukem license." It's like, Randy just
What he's saying is it's a joke.
Storm the stage. Get him.
Yeah.
Russian
Anyway,
boy.
thank you everybody for joining us, and you can find us all in those locations that we previously mentioned. And
Or else.
I don't know if Ruby's seen recent episodes where we do a thing at the end.
no, I missed
It
the last
involves the booming,
couple. Booming.
but it's like still boom. You know what I mean? Like let's
Everybody gets it. Everyone
keep-
gets it wrong.
Keep it rolling.
Booming.
Booming.
Let's
Yeah.
exactly.
There we go.
Yeah.
But one more try. So 3. So it's let's keep
Uh huh.
3 or no.
Is it
wait.
let's keep or
3.
is it keep on?
Keep on.
Shit.
No.
Keep on
Let's-
booming
let's-
or let's keep booming. Which one are we doing?
It's let's keep booming. That's what's in this.
Is it let's keep booming or keep on booming? Which one sounds better?
Keep on booming. Definitely
on,
sounds
we're-
better.
Keep on. Keep
Okay,
on.
let's do keep
booming.
on booming then. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Keep on
on
booming.
booming.
With your
That's
low
probably the
rank.
best one yet.
I was too early and then I was
And
too
stay
late.
hydrated,
That's skill
kids.
right there.